Hello, welcome. It's Lorraine here from Lowe's Life and Lessons. And today we're going to talk about what it means to be old and what all the implications of that are. And we're going to look at that meaning through the words of Father Richard Rohr. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Lorraine, and this channel is about accepting and embracing our later years with grace, with gratitude, and with good humor. And before we get started, of course, my scent of the day is L'Interdit by Givenchy. Now, this perfume was created for Audrey Hepburn in 1957. And of course, since then, there have been many versions released. This one is from 2003 with this red label. This perfume is just so soft and sweet and just absolutely delectable. It's a floral, fruity, and it has many notes, which I will need to read off for you. Violet leaf, honeysuckle, peony, rose, peach, heliotrope, plum, tuberose, orange blossom, sandalwood, oak moss, amber, patchouli, and musk. And that doesn't even name all the notes. This is a complex perfume. It's been around for many, many years, so many people have loved it throughout the years, and it's my scent of the day. I looked up some definitions of old because we are old. I mean, the fact of the matter is there are some pejorative words for being old, but the fact of the matter is we are old. And some of the other words used to describe us are that we are in our advanced years, that we are no longer young. And it's true, we are no longer young. We are past our prime. That's a hard one, but again, it's true. Now, when I was living up north, and you might already know this, but the Aboriginal culture up north very much holds older people in great esteem and refers to them as elders. Now, we call them seniors here, but in that community, in that culture, they are called elders, and they are respected and very much taken care of and acknowledged. In a way, I find that seniors in our own culture, my own culture that I see around me, it's not necessarily that way all the time. Father Richard Rohr, I learned about through a wonderful friend of mine who died in 2015. And she had told me about him. I do believe that she actually saw him preach in person. And she told me about his daily meditations because he was born in Kansas in 1943 and received his Master of Theology degree in 1970 from the University of Dayton. He entered the Franciscan order in 1961 and was ordained to the priesthood in 1970. And he founded the New Jerusalem community in Cincinnati, Ohio. In 1971, he founded the Center for Action and Contemplation, and that's where these daily meditations come from, the Center for Action and Contemplation. These emails contain reflections by Father Rohr as well as guest writers about meditation, prayer, the meaning of life, all kinds of things that really get you thinking. So I'll put the link to that, obviously, down below so that you can access that if you want to receive that in your daily email. Meanwhile, what does it mean to get old? Well, in the words of Father Rohr, I just loved the way he expressed what it means to age. So I wanted to share that with you. It's a fairly short, but it just gives you something to think about. So I'm going to read Father Rohr's words now. Life is much more spacious in the second half of life. Isn't that great? The boundaries of the container having been enlarged by the constant addition of new experiences and relationships. Now you are just here, and here holds more than enough. If we know anything at this stage, we know that we are all in this together, and we are all equally naked underneath our clothes. When you are young, you define yourself by differentiating yourself. Now, you look for the things we all share in common. You find happiness in alikeness, which has become much more obvious to you now. And you do not need to dwell on the differences between people or exaggerate the problems between people. Creating dramas has become boring. I couldn't agree with that more. In the second half of life, it is good just to be part of the general dance. We do not have to stand out, make defining moves, or be better than anyone else on the dance floor. Life is more participatory than assertive, and there is no need for strong or further self-definition. God has taken care of all that, much better than we ever expected. The brightness comes from within now, and it is usually more than enough. I love this. I'm going to print it down below so that you can reread it and meditate on those words if you wish. Thank you for being with me today. This is a bit different, I know, but I really wanted to share this with you because one thing that this group has in common is that we are all aging, whether we're in our 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. We are aging from the moment we're born, and we become very conscious of that, I would say, around 60, 65. So thank you for joining me. I hope that you've enjoyed this, and I will see you in my next video.